And we made way too many mistakes to beat a very good football team like that, from the drops, penalties at very, very bad times, and a couple of blown coverages. So we did some things that weren't characteristic of ourselves, and didn't give ourselves a chance to win the game. But I will say, I thought our guys did fight. I thought they competed for 60 minutes, but that just wasn't one of our better games.
All right, Coach. Now looking ahead, we traveled to Old Dominion. Can you talk a little about what you've seen on ODU on film?
ODU's a very good football team. Up there breaking down film and watching those guys. They had Indiana this past weekend, and Indiana, I think, is ranked 20th in the country out of the Big Ten, and that was a two-possession game. And ODU gave them all they could handle. But we've got to do a better job um, getting Hass to the ball this week. The quarterback is an unbelievable athlete, dual threat guy. I believe he had 100 and almost 80 yards rushing off of 10 carries. So he's obviously a dual threat. They have a stable full of running backs. They're big up front. Defensively, I think the back end is very good. I think they have a very good secondary, and they're physical up front. So we're gonna have to, really come to play. And games like this, on paper we might be outmatched, but we have to limit the mistakes and get the game to the fourth quarter to give ourselves a chance to win the game. And I think that we have the team, we have the personnel, we have the talent to do it. It's just about limited mistakes and making plays when they come to us. And I didn't think this past weekend we made enough plays when we had the opportunities.
All right, Coach. This time we order for questions from the media, and actually just raise your hand. The first question comes from Mike.
Appreciate it. Coach, good to see you. You talked about the things that hurt you last week. Are those, it sounds like, though, looking at the numbers, everything was fairly even. They had a little more success in the passing game. The things that you addressed that hurt you sound like correctable and fixable things. Is that how you're kind of approaching this week?
Oh, definitely. We had six drops. And if you look at when they happened, like the first play of the game, that could have popped for about 60 yards, might have been a touchdown if we bring that one in. And I thought, like, week one, Walker did a great job of placing the ball and putting it on the correct shoulder and all that stuff. But I told my receivers, sometimes you have to make the tough catches. And the ball's not going to be always right there on your chest. You might be a little behind you, a little high, or whatever, but you've got to come down with the ball if it hits your hands. And a couple drops there, and then a couple big drops on third down. And their receivers were making plays. They made a couple of great 50-50 catches. And our DBs fought them to the ground, and they ended up coming up with the ball. But we've got to make those plays. And I thought we made them in week one. We just didn't make them this past weekend.
You got two results under your belt right now, Coach. I mean, is this group where you want them to be at this point? And I know that you're still striving week by week to get better and better, but through two games, are you about where you thought you'd be? And are you ahead, behind? I mean, where do you feel?
Well, kind of week zero, or our first game of the year, you don't really know where you are until you obviously play somebody. And I was pleased with how we played week one, our first game of the year. And like I say every week, whenever you all ask me questions, it's all about improvement week to week. And I don't think we took a step forward this week, this Saturday night against New Hampshire. If we can get a little bit better every week, I think we have a chance of having a good football team. But you can't do the things we were doing. And I think one big problem we had, I thought defensively we played well in most areas except minus the blown coverage. But offensively, we struggled getting in a rhythm. And guys have to play. Sometimes the guys have to play us into a rhythm and just make the easy catches and make the plays that come to you. Give the quarterbacks some confidence, give the team some confidence, and we can get a rhythm and from there stack plays. But when you don't win first down, or you win first down, which we did quite a bit, but then have negative plays on second down, when now you're in third and long, and those are hard to manage. But we will get it corrected. And the guys came in, had a good attitude during when we were getting corrections done yesterday. So I like where we are as far as our attitude's concerned and these guys' work ethic, but we have to pay attention to detail, strain, and make plays.
Second time you've been away from home. Thoughts on going to ODU and just the environment? You already kind of talked about what you're facing with ODU, but the environment and the aspect of the travel portion of it.
Right. It was an easy trip. That's my really hometown. So, it's about a 3-hour trip. I make it all the time. Real easy. We'll practice here before we go on the road. get there like we usually do, check in the hotel and have meetings, things that sort. But as far as their environment, I think they have an outstanding environment there. They have some new additions done to the stadium a couple years back. Um, Great fan base there. The people come out and support. So it's gonna be a tough environment to play in. They have a student section that's very engaged. So our guys are gonna do a great job of communicating and home opener for them. So I'm sure those guys are gonna be jacked up and ready to play.
Attitude wise with the team, and not necessarily their approach to practice and that sort of thing, but the loss to New Hampshire, these guys take it a little personal after you pointed out some of the things that may have hurt you last week, and does that help get those guys refocused?
Well, definitely, and they knew it was a challenge. In our non-conference, we always play a very, very tough, challenging non-conference schedule, and I think that's the only way that, from a media standpoint and the writers and people that vote on it, that's the only way you can get, ranked in the polls is by beating really good teams. And we had an opportunity. We know we were going to be tested, but we had an opportunity in a winnable game. It was a very good football team coming in here, but our guys knew that we let one get away from us. It was a team that we could have beat, and I thought matched up with really, really good. And we didn't do what we needed to do to beat a good team. And hats off to them. They made the plays and we didn't. But, guys were disappointed because when you have opportunity to play teams like this and play teams out of conference that can really help with the rankings and continue to push and promote our program, we want to win those games. So we let it get away from us, but we'll, obviously we have opportunity to play another really good opponent this weekend, and we're going to work to put a better showing out there this week.
Do your guys kind of take all those talking points and turn them into not effort, but attention to detail and taking care of the little things this week in practice as you move forward?
Yeah, and that was the one big preaching, point I had to him was like, we have to practice better. Every play I have to practice at a high level, like it's a game rep. If I'm a defensive back and I'm in practice, the receiver cannot come down with the ball. I got to fight him all the way to the ground. I got to get the ball out. When you're in practice, I challenge them. We can't have any drops. We need to be able to go a whole day without a position group dropping the ball. And to me, that just takes focus. I see the ball, I've been catching the ball since I was 3, 4 years old. So it's all about focus, seeing the ball, eyes to the tuck every time. And it's the little things. And you just can't take things for granted and, try to look and get yards before you can secure the ball. So like we've done since we were in elementary school at recess, catch the ball before you run.
So the win against Southern, do you think and then going into the game, this past Saturday, and the final result being what it was, do you think there was a bit of maybe guys were really hype about that game and maybe a little too hype coming into your first home game?
Not at all. I mean, they were obviously very excited to play the opener against Southern. And after that win, we had some confidence coming into this game right here. And the guys were excited about having an opportunity to play at home in front of our home crowd. I don't think the emotions got the best of us. I like where we were. We talk about thermostat mentality. I like where we were. I thought we were focused and locked in to play the game. Just mistakes. And that told me to get that corrected. I got to figure out a way to get these guys locked in and make sure that we're paying attention to detail and not overlooking things. But I don't think that we were too excited about the game or whatever the case may be.
What's up, Coach? Josh here from HBCU Nightly. My only question, man, is about the rotation we have right now as far as in the DB room. It looks like we're trying different rotations, just kind of trying to figure it out. At this point in the season, it's week 2 now. Do you feel like, does defensive coordinator Jesse Thompson feel like the DB rotation is right yet, or are we still kind of working through that part? Is there still some kinks that can be worked out? A couple guys that can be moved into the rotation? Just as a question, just as it seems like the DB room is starting to get a little bit more confidence. Didn't know if you had any plans this week to kind of work into that rotation a little bit more.
All right, that's a good question, Josh. Well, early on I talked about, being in game shape, and I don't think that you can practice guys in the game shape. The only thing that's going to get you prepared and in game shape is actually playing in games. So early in the season, I like to play a lot of guys. If you see our defensive line, we probably have about a 8 to 10 man rotation at D-line. We play about 4 or 5 linebackers, and we play quite a few DBs. So we rotate guys in, even at offensive line, all positions. We kind of rotate guys in because early in the season, we want to make sure our guys are fresh. And then also, have to develop guys. It's going to be a long season, and you can't wait till week 8, week 9, and somebody goes down for this to be this first guy's rep as far as meaningful game reps. So, like I said, it's a couple things to it. Until our guys can play, 50, 60 plays a game, we have to rotate. And then it's from a developmental aspect of it. You have to be able to play guys in certain situations to get their feet wet. But we do have a rotation that we're with before the game. We already know who's going to play, usually what series they're going to play, and we already have an idea with that. But once the next couple of games or so, and guys get in game shape, we might slow that down a little bit, depending on our sub packages, things of that nature. But we got to keep guys fresh, and we got to keep fresh legs on the field.
Coach, I guess I asked the final question. Coach, I know obviously we play North State every other year, but what does it feel like going back to 757 to be able to play in front of play a game in front of your family and friends?
Well, yeah, it's good to go back to the 757. Quite a bit of family back there, a lot of friends and everything, and it's really good, football there. So we have opportunity when we get there, do a little bit of recruiting, and hopefully I can get some crab cakes or something while I'm out there back at the Tidewater.
All right, Coach, as always, I want to thank you for your time. Really do appreciate it. I know you're a very busy individual.
Thank you, Maurice. Thank you, guys. More if I could.
Yes.
If you all would, a close friend of mine, I'm sure a lot of y'all know, local high school coach from Wake Forest High School, Reggie Lucas, a good friend of mine. His family had a accident this weekend, and I asked y'all to please pray for he and his family. I won't go into the details of it. You all can obviously find out what's going on, but please keep Coach Reggie Lucas and his family in your prayers.